My name is Alex Orndorff, and I have been skiing since I was about 4 or 3 years old. I was born in Durango, Colorado, and there's a resort about 40 minutes out from downtown. That's where I met all the people I know that ski. It's where I met all my friends, and yeah.
I remember being told my whole life, as a person who skied in America almost their entire life, that avalanches are not something you have to worry about. If you're going to a resort like a normal person, avalanches are an afterthought. I remember being terrified of stuff like avalanches or tsunamis when I was younger. One of my biggest fears was one day I would end up triggering an avalanche and getting myself buried. And then, 10 years later, I went on a trip to Austria with my dad, and I was skiing on a ridge, and I got into my first avalanche. I'm not really quite sure what caused me to fall, but when I did fall, I thought I was fine, and then a bunch of snow just piled on top of me, and it rolled me over, and then I just kind of sat there on top of the snow as it pushed me down the mountain. I slid about 15 feet. It was a very small avalanche. One of my greatest fears had just come to light, and I was completely fine. It was probably one of the smallest avalanches that had happened on that mountain in that year and that season, and I was completely fine. And although I was completely fine, it made me realize that I don't think skiers really realize the risk of avalanches until they get into one. I mean, just look at this video taken by Thom Goddard of this absolutely massive avalanche triggered by explosions at the top of the mountain. It may just look like a giant white blizzard coming down the mountain, but I assure you it's much more than that.
We do have continuing coverage this morning. 8 skiers are dead in what's now being called the deadliest avalanche in a decade.
Rain and snow in the Alps have led to a series of avalanches, resulting in dozens of deaths
from the sheriff's office as they continue their press conference this afternoon. As we've now learned that 8 of the 9 missing skiers have been confirmed dead.
2 skiers were killed in Italy on Sunday.
This past ski season has been one of the deadliest in the past decade, and as you could tell, it's a universal problem. Skiers from all over the world are dying in avalanches, or getting buried, or getting stuck. It makes me realize that I was doing stuff that I definitely should not have been doing on that mountain, especially on the same day, in which I was doing stuff that could have slid, and fortunately, when I slid on that tiny avalanche, I was not anywhere that could have been dangerous, but I had been places where if I had slid, it could have been really bad.
I'm a little worried right now because this is definitely some avalanche terrain.
And hey, I definitely did get some sick skiing, and it was extremely fun to ski some of this terrain.
Okay.
But in the long run, it was probably not the best idea.
Here we are. This is where I wanted to ski, I think. I think this is what I saw. Here.
I think as I get better as a skier, it will be my instinct to do more and more difficult terrain. But I think I also need to gain the ability to realize when something may be too dangerous to do.
Sketchy.
I remember skiing down this incredibly steep chute, and I looked up and I just saw all these little teensy balls of snow rolling and rolling down, and they rolled and rolled and rolled, and I realized that if this were powder and this slid, I would die. There is no doubt. I would not survive a slide here. And I hope that the point that you take away from this video is not that you should not ski or snowboard down steep or scary stuff, because doing that kind of terrain is almost always extremely fun. I hope that the point that you take away is that you should always be wary of what you are doing and when you are doing it.